getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. This is KTXS News at 10.
Good evening. Former President Trump's son, Don Jr., taking the stand in the financial fraud case against the former president and his adult children.
Don Jr. pressed on what he knew about the family business in his testimony.
Aaron Katersky has this story.
Tonight, the first of Donald Trump's children taking the stand as a witness in the civil fraud trial that could tear the family real estate business apart.
I should have worn makeup.
Donald Trump Jr. and his brother Eric took control of the Trump Organization when their father became president.
These papers are just some of the many documents that I've signed, turning over complete and total control to my sons.
But today in court, Trump Jr. described himself as just a real estate broker. And when asked if he was familiar with basic accounting practices or was a member of an accounting organization, he answered, "Sounds exciting, but no." Judge Arthur Engoron has already determined financial documents signed by Trump Jr. fraudulently inflated his father's net worth by as much as $2 billion. Today, Trump Jr. testified he wasn't really aware of what he was signing, saying, "I leave it to my CPAs," echoing what he said in a sworn deposition.
Whoever was bringing me a document, if it was more accounting, it was probably from accounting. If it was more legal, it would be from legal. And hey, are we okay signing this document? Do you believe it to be honest and accurate? And if they were okay with it, they'd have much more knowledge than I'd ever be able to amass. And so I would sign it.
Today, Trump Jr. telling the judge, "I have an obligation to trust those with expertise." He has argued he was not on top of the company's finances.
I had no real involvement in the preparation of the statement of financial condition and don't really remember ever working on it with anyone.
But New York Attorney General Letitia James says that's just not true, arguing Trump Jr. and Eric Trump were aware of and knowingly participated in a years-long scheme to fraudulently boost the business's bottom line to win better terms on insurance and bank loans. As soon as Don Jr. finishes, Eric Trump will take his brother's place on the witness stand. Ivanka Trump is scheduled to testify here next week. She's no longer a defendant in the case, and she appealed the judge's order forcing her to testify. Their father attacked the judge on social media, saying, "Leave my children alone." Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Well, we've got fair skies that continue across the area this evening. No problems coming our way except the temperature coming on down. Now we're holding 40s this evening. We've got still a south and southeast wind that's around 5 to 9 miles per hour. If we get these winds down a bit more, we'll see those temperatures dropping, and there is a pretty good chance of a freeze, say in Brownwood over toward Eastland tomorrow morning, and the rest of us could see a frost. So the best course of action, continue to protect your tender plants for one more night. Low temperatures tomorrow morning, mid-30s for many of us, although look at these freezing temperatures down here in our southeastern areas. But we warm it up tomorrow afternoon with mid to upper 60s. We're on our way to 70s Friday. We'll talk about that coming up.
Thank you, Mark. Dogs are known as man's best friend, but sometimes even best friends grow apart.
And now one man's accused of leaving his dog behind. KTXS reporter Karina Hollingsworth was in Anson today to get this story.
Dog dumping is a growing issue, and one man found out firsthand what happens when you don't dispose of your animals properly.
One that got in trouble was from Hamlin, and instead of dumping it in his hometown, he drove over here and dumped it.
Last week, the Anson Animal Shelter made this post on Facebook looking for the owner of a red Australian Shepherd that we now know is named Ursula.
The Hamlin animal control officer, he recognized the dog, and he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, I think that's the same dog that I had posted prior." And he said, "Sure enough, it is."
Now faced with a dog dumping case, the animal control officers jumped into action.
He said, "Let me go talk to the guy and I'll tell him to come to Anson." So he talked to him, and sure enough, the guy that had dumped the dog admitted, "Yeah, I did. I took it to Anson and dumped it." When he got there, I had a police officer with me, and he read him his Miranda rights immediately because he did admit that he did dump the dog, and that is illegal.
Dog dumping is a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by a $4,000 fine or a year in jail. And Officer Stevens says all of this is easy to avoid.
Hey, I've got this dog. I can't keep it anymore. can I bring it in to relinquish it? And most of the time, it's just a matter of paying a fee.
And as for Ursula, Officer Schneeman says she's adjusted to her new temporary home and getting ready to go out to enjoy some fresh air.
She's doing really good. We're going to start getting them out. I say we, it's me. I'm going to start getting them out on the leash. And normally we'll take a walk around we've got a little lake or a little pond right here. We go walk around the pond.
There are multiple dogs and a cat anxiously waiting to be adopted right here at the Anson Animal Shelter. In Anson, I'm Karina Hollingsworth, KTXS News.
Hopefully they find good homes. Karina, thank you. Download the KTXS News app and follow us on social media to stay informed on the latest news across the nation and around the big country. A San Angelo woman is dead after a car crash Monday night. The Texas Department of Public Safety says that 37-year-old Cheryl Anderson was heading south on Grape Creek Road, approaching the intersection of FM 2105. DPS says Anderson failed to yield the right-of-way on FM 2105 and collided with a car driven by 27-year-old Jose Ruiz of San Angelo. Officials say Anderson was pronounced dead at the scene and a 17-year-old passenger sustained serious injuries. Ruiz suffered minor injuries.
In Crime Watch, a Merkel man was arrested accused of having child pornography. Tuesday, the Taylor County Sheriff's Office got a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about sexually explicit images of kids. Investigators say they were able to quickly develop a suspect and arrested 22-year-old Garrett Haynes. They say they found numerous videos and pictures of sexually explicit images of children. Haynes was arrested and charged with possession of child pornography.
A man's behind bars in Scurry County accused of running from police. Snyder police say Jamie Garcia was seen walking out of a wooded area in Snyder Tuesday afternoon. As officers were questioning Garcia, they say he took off in his car. Police say after a short chase, Garcia bailed out of the car while it was still moving and ran off on foot. Police eventually caught Garcia. He's charged with multiple crimes. Coming up on KTXS News at 10, the city of Lewiston, Maine hosted an Act of Kindness and Gratitude Day. We'll tell you how one Texas man spreading hope to people whose hearts are hurting.
And coming up in sports, it's getting colder and the games are getting more significant. And big-time games expose big-time players. And the Holly Bearcats are first-hand witnesses to it. We'll introduce you to our KTXS Player of the Week tonight, so stay tuned.
Getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. You're watching KTXS News at 10 with Will Jensen, Farrah Walton, your Storm Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mark Rowley, and sports with Sierra Henry. News, weather, and more. KTXS.com.
Welcome back. Today, the city of Lewiston, Maine hosted an Act of Kindness and Gratitude Day. That's where those mass shootings took place 1 week ago.
Brad Rogers tells us how one Texas man spreading hope and kindness to people whose hearts are certainly hurting.
David Graham got a head start spreading kindness and love on Main Street in Lewiston. He's been here 5 days now with his own message of love and hope in the wake of this senseless, violent attack.
This is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. This started out to be the same trauma on America in their heart as Uvalde did, because we heard first 3 different possible locations, maybe multiple shooters.
With a smile on his face and a cowboy hat in his hand, Graham waves at passing cars a few blocks from the bowling alley that was targeted first. He sees how people in Lewiston are hurting, and some of them stop to talk. He told me one of the first people he spoke with was a couple who survived the shooting at the bowling alley.
They went on to tell me that they were the first out the exit. And before they left, they watched the manager drop 5 feet away, get up, and go down again. And they came here and they're like, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that we were first to run? So there was a case where I said, what you need to do is talk about it. Your post-traumatic is real. And if you talk about it, it's healthy. And so they talked for about an hour right here in the dark.
Graham says he plans to stay here in Lewiston for a while, lending an ear or a smile to those who need it.
I think it's possible for one person to make a difference. You are. And I think it's possible to provide an instant injection of love, instant injection of hope, an instant injection like within hours of arriving. People drive by and they're like, that's nice.
President Biden and the First Lady will visit Maine Friday in the wake of last week's mass shooting. They'll be there in Lewiston, where that gunman opened fire at a bar in a bowling alley, killing 18 people, injuring 13 others.
In a statement, the White House says the Bidens will pay their respects to the victims and community, as well as meet with first responders. Following the shooting, Biden called on Republicans in Congress to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
From the Taylor Telecom Weather Center, your Storm Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mark Rowlett.
Good evening again, everyone. A chilly day today. Our low this morning got down to 30. That was almost to the record of 28. That's the low temperature ever recorded, the coldest for this date. And the high today was 62, 11 degrees below normal. I think we will be warmer, at least 5 degrees warmer than both of those numbers for your Thursday. Now, we've got clear skies. There's a pretty good chance we'll see a freeze again around Brownwood, Eastland, and the rest of us. If the winds come down a bit more, we could see a frost tomorrow morning. Sunny and warmer Thursday afternoon. That warming trend and the dry weather holds on for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and actually well into next week. It's fair skies across the entire state this evening. All's quiet across much of the United States. Some rain way out in the Pacific Northwest. We've seen some little showers starting to push offshore in the Northeast and a few little stray showers way down in Miami. But yeah, we're in pretty good company with the quiet weather. Temperatures could be as cold as 38 tomorrow morning, and that is cold enough for a frost. 57 at lunchtime, going up to at least 66 at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Weather forecast model, well, the winds are from the south overnight. Again, if they get low enough, around 3-4 miles per hour, we might see a frost tomorrow morning. But those winds will pick up tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see some mid-level clouds sneaking in late in the day, but no rain in our forecast. Here we are with fair skies on Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Breezy south and southwest winds that'll warm us well into the 70s on Friday, setting the stage for temperatures in the 60s for football games Friday night. Here we are Saturday morning with some clouds down south, but those kind of move up and then fade before lunchtime. And then we're looking at breezy south winds and temperatures up near 80, 80 on Saturday. That really cold air is gradually retreating back off to the northeast, but clearly we are running below normal with that kind of back edge of the cold air still hanging out at least for one more night. Temperatures, well, mostly in the 40s across the state, although 50s once you get down around and south of Interstate 10. And current temperatures in our area, well, 44 in Eastland, 45 in Brownwood. It's down to 43 in Sweetwater, 45 in Abilene. Southeast winds at 7 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill of 41. 38 is possible tomorrow morning and maybe a frost. We're going up to 68 tomorrow afternoon. 75 on Friday, 78 Saturday, 82 Sunday, 80s for Monday and Tuesday, back in the 70s Wednesday. It's time change weekend.
Thank you, Mark. And KTXS wants to keep you safe during all weather conditions. Download our weather app for the latest weather updates. It's in Google Play and the Apple Store, and you can see the forecast there, a live radar. It'll also send you push alerts with weather updates.
Happening tomorrow, the Grace Museum in Abilene will celebrate Dia de los Muertos. They'll be holding a free family festival from 5 to 8 p.m. There will be come and go activities, including creating origami sugar skulls. There will also be several story times with the Abilene Public Library and performances by a mariachi band and a ballet folklorico dance group. The Junior League of Abilene's Christmas Carousel event kicks off tomorrow, celebrating the magic of the season at the Convention Center. It's an event where people can shop until they drop while supporting a good cause. There will be more than 60 vendors to shop from. The Christmas Carousel is the Junior League's annual fundraising event.
And they say money raised goes directly back into the community, funding the league's projects throughout the year that focus on meeting the needs of women and children in our area. Here's a look at the days and times. It's a 4-day event going until Sunday, November 5th. Those tickets are $6.
And coming up in sports, the 2023 MLB World Series champions have made their appearance. When we come back, stay tuned.
From the Texas State Hearing Aid Device Center Sports Desk, your sports report with KTXS Sports Director Sierra Henry.
Welcome back, Big Country. As the weather starts to get a little bit colder, that means playoffs are right around the corner, and the games mean just a little bit more. And one of the biggest games of the year had district title implications as the Hawley Bearcats battled the Stanford Bulldogs, and in a big-time game, big-time players step up. But it seemed like Hawley's Deontay Ramon rose to the occasion, helping the Bearcats stay undefeated in district, and that's why he's our KTXS Player of the Week.
Player of the Week, sponsored by Abilene Teachers Federal Credit Union.
The reigning state champs stumbled out of the gates this season, dropping their opening game, but since that loss, they've looked like the Bearcats of old and continued their domination, entering their matchup against Stanford, going undefeated in district play. And the matchup for the top seed in the district didn't disappoint, as the teams went down to the last minute of play to decide a winner. And in a game that close, every point and yard matters. So Ramon's 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns were key in the Bearcat win.
Just knowing that we still can beat great teams, because Stanford was a heck of a team, Didn't expect the outcome of that, to be honest with you. But yeah, just knowing that Stanford was a great team and we put them down is good.
It was a battle. It was a war. We were expecting it to be a battle, and it sure was. We knew Stanford was going to come out to play and be ready to play, and they're a good football team. And luckily, when it had zeros on the clock, we were ahead.
And while Ramon had a big game on the offensive side of the ball, he might have had a bigger impact on defense, coming away with 2 interceptions, including a 97-yard pick six. And Bearcats head coach Mitch Abels talks about Ramon's impact on both sides of the ball.
He's a game changer to have him. Keegan was a little hobbled Friday, and we were able to put Deontay back there to take a little pressure off of Keegan a little bit and get us some rushing yards. And it's just good to have some guys like him.
Deontay Ramon from Hawley is your Abilene Teachers Federal Credit Union Player of the Week.
Congratulations, Deontay, and thank you, Tyler. Now, every year it seems to always come down to these two teams battling for the same spot, Hawley and Cisco. Meet for a showdown at Chelsea Field Friday night, basically to determine who's making that long trip to El Paso. And to top it all off, it's senior night for the Lobos. This isn't their first rodeo, so both teams know what to expect from one another. Everything counts, so they are ready to go to war and leave it all on the field.
We're going to get their best shot, so we've been preaching to our kids all week that we can't take them lightly. They wouldn't want anything better than to knock us off, and right now this is the next one up, so we just got to be ready for the Cisco Lobos.
We know that Hawley's waiting for us week 10. Us and Hawley are very familiar with each other, so we know what's waiting on us week 10, but it's whether you want to go lose first round of the playoffs or try to make a run, it really does come down to that as far as seeding goes. You don't want to be the 4th seed and play number 1 out of the other district.
Now, Game 5 of the World Series has a final score of 5-0, making the Texas Rangers the 2023 MLB World Series champs. Both teams were scoreless until the top of the 7th, and the rest is literal history. The first set of Rangers to ever do it in franchise history. If that's not the definition of go and take it, then I don't know what is. Congratulations to the Rangers and the Rangers fans. You're watching KTXS at 10. We'll be right back.
sponsored by Animal Health and Medical Center of Abilene.
Welcome back. Now it's time to meet our pet of the week, and this is Simon. He's a 4-month-old terrier mix. They say he is a goofball and he loves attention.
They also say he gets along well with people and other dogs, even cats. If you'd like to meet Simon, you could visit the Abilene Animal Shelter at 925 South 25th Street.
Elton John just sold his Atlanta condo to one of the most expensive condo purchase deals in the city's history. The Wall Street Journal says the roughly 13,500 square foot residence sold for upwards of $7.2 million just a few weeks after hitting the market.
That was about 45% more than the nearly $5 million asking price. John's primary residence is in England. The Rocket Man singer used his Atlanta residence as his U.S. home base for decades. He listed the condo for sale in September after recently finishing his farewell tour. The listing agent wouldn't say who bought it, but said they're local and paid all cash. And Matthew Perry's memoir has returned to #1 on Amazon's bestsellers chart days after his death.
Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing came out 1 year ago today, detailing his life and career, including his decades of substance abuse.
Perry was found dead Saturday at his Los Angeles home. He was 54.
Well, a chilly start to your day tomorrow. Our school bus forecast, a frost is possible. Temperatures around 38, but we're going to 68 tomorrow afternoon, 75 Friday, 78 Saturday, and that warming trend continues right on into early next week.
Looks like some nice weather on the way. Thanks for watching KTXS News at 10.
Jimmy Kimmel is next. Have a good night.